right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast, where we bring unique insight and analysis behind your favorite teams at the collegiate and professional levels. Collegiate tonight. I'm your host, Chase Yantz. We got a full house tonight. We got the Fantastic Four are back in studio. Okay, to the right is Matt Ricketts. Matt, what's going on?
What's going on, fellas? Excited to have us back, all four of us. It's been a while. You know, the Buckeyes are finally back. Practice starts Thursday. Can't wait, man. It's going to be awesome.
Definitely will be. And right below me, Brady King. Brady, what's going on?
Man, not much. Honestly, just locked in here. Coming to August tomorrow, I believe. So you're
2
gonna
days.
have.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 days. Yeah, 2 days.
I keep thinking it's Wednesday for some reason. I don't know. I think
mix it up too.
it's a 5.
August is in 2 days. That's right. Thursday is the start of football camp. I was thinking Wednesday as well, but we got a full month ahead of us of practice updates, all this type of stuff before we get into the real thing on the last day of the month here against Akron. So very excited.
Yes, sir. And then, as always, he's not a guest. He's family of the show. Down in the bottom right corner, Kris Drew, Akron's finest. What's going on, Kris?
Oh, dude, I'm feeling really good. I'm happy to be here. I'm feeling really. I'm deep in thought with this upcoming season, but I'm just glad it's here, dog. It's been so long, and I was trying to think about the last time we all linked up together because it's been a while. I feel like.
We got to make that happen when the time is right. When time's open,
right.
It's just
It's been a little bit. In fact, everybody has different setups except for Brady.
Yeah, I was gonna be at a different setup, but then I had the connection problem, so I'm back in the same setup.
Yep.
So
yeah, everybody's switching things up, man. That's what it is. But if you guys are watching this, listening to this, like, subscribe, comment. Just we appreciate the support we've had over the last few years, and let's get on into this thing. Ohio State, all right, we are a very talented roster on paper, and we are projected to be a very talented roster on the field. Chip Kelly is a name that is the offensive coordinator for Ohio State now. Kris, the impact Chip's going to have on these players, what's it going to be?
I think the biggest impact is that Ryan Day is going to be less up these kids' ass than he's ever been, because I think that, like, for the first time he can be a true CEO, because someone that he quote unquote trusts with his life will be basically the captain of the offense. So you have your captain of the offense, you have your captain of the defense, and instead of Ryan Day holding his players accountable and being up their ass, I think he can hold these coaches accountable, and each coach can coach the way that they think these kids can be unlocked the best. So I think that's kind of, for the first time, we're going to see a true CEO role, the same way we kind of have seen with Kirby Smart over the years. I know he's like a defensive mind, but he let Dan Lanning call the defense. Obviously, Schumann was there, called the defense. So, Schumann, excuse me. So that's, I think, the biggest impact. And I think with that, you'll get a more charismatic, freed Ryan Day, rather than one that's been chained down by his own insecurities and own tightness, because he has a coach like Chip Kelly. They should be like, you know what? Shut up, Rye. I got it. And I'm most excited for that.
All right. And Matt, we've had discussions before about, calling the plays. We've had, with Ryan Day or Chip Kelly, who's going to have the play calls and stuff. And you have an opinion that you think Ryan Day is still going to take over. We don't, obviously Ryan Day gave it over to Chip Kelly, but we had discussions back in the summer. Matt, do you remember that?
Yeah.
I do remember that. I'm of the belief, I just feel like eventually, maybe not like last year or years prior, where you tried to give the OC role to Brian Hartline and it was just completely Ryan Day the entire time. I just feel like his nature is a coordinator, and he is a CEO. I do see more of a role of backing off a little bit this year and allowing somebody else to take the reins. But I just feel like his nature, when it gets down to it, the nitty-gritty is he's just going to want to call the plays. So I do feel at some point this season he will take over. Maybe it might be situationally in games where, a drive here or a call here, just like, how a lot of, coaches, when they want to go forward on fourth down, whatever, they make the CEO decisions and everything. So, but I just feel his nature is calling plays, and I'm not sure he wants – I don't want to see him go away from it completely is really is my big thing. But in terms of being excited for Chip Kelly, I'm excited to see how he develops this running game with Trey and Quinshon Judkins. Obviously, we saw how good of a running coach he was back in the days when he was at Oregon with the spread offenses that he was running. I mean, it was crazy. He just knows the run game well, and he's got Justin Fry now, who he's coached with before as well as the offensive line coach. So I'm really excited to see how the running game, takes a step forward this year under Chip. That's the big thing for me.
So many new evolving pieces in this offense with a new quarterback, another new running back, and Quinshon Judkins and some receivers and freshmen that are stepping up. Brady, what are your thoughts overall with just the quarterback and the running backs that are going to be involved in this Chip Kelly offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a perfect fit for the most part in terms of who we have in those spots. We have multiple different types of running backs. They're both very good in their own right, but you have one, Travion Henderson, who's obviously very explosive, one of the faster running backs in the country, can hit 0 to 100 pretty quickly, and will break you a 70-yard touchdown if the defense messes up, and he can split a crease. And then you got another type of running back who, Quinshon Judkins has speed, but he doesn't have the speed Trey has. But what he does have is better balance, better vision, and I don't think he has the spin move that he has in the EA game. But
no, not a chance.
No. He's a better pass blocker. He's more powerful. And 3rd and 1, I think we have a guy that's gonna get us that first down pretty much every time, as long as the offensive line doesn't completely mess up. And then Will Howard-wise, more of a power runner than speed. He's not slow, but he's definitely not fast either. But he's shown that he will run the ball, and if he keeps it up the middle, or if we run QB draw or power with him, he has the ability to have some decent. He had some big games at Kansas. He had a 70-yard run. He had a 50-yard run. He can split a crease, and with Chip Kelly running the show and those 3 players, and then even the freshman running backs that are going to have to step up and have a big role, I think it's going to be a nasty run game.
I agree. And Kris, you got a hat on, all right? I need you to put another hat, a thinking cap on, all right, with this one. We're going to rank a couple of position groups, okay? Just let's go 3, all right? Like top 3 position groups on this Ohio State team, because, I mean, there's some of these groups that are just loaded and everything else, but, quarterback room is deep. Running backs are explosive. The receivers, for God's sake. But what is your overall, and obviously BIA, but what are your thoughts, like, if you have to rank, like, 3 of these units on this Ohio State roster?
If I'm ranking the top 3 or just those 3?
Top 3.
My top 3 units on the team, corners, safeties, running backs, or corners, running backs, safeties.
Corners, running backs, safety.
Yeah, I think Ohio State has the best corner unit in the country. I think they also have the best safety unit in the country, and they have the best running back unit in the country. So it's like that one for me is pretty easy. I mean, there's like probably 2 NFL players in each of those rooms, and that's like really hard to find. And I'm talking about like guys who are probably day 1 stars in the NFL, 2 of them at least. So I think Lathan Ransom is probably a top 5 safety in all college football. I think Caleb Downs is the best safety. I have Malachi Starks as 2nd in the country. I think cornerback wise, I mean, it's Will Johnson, Benjamin Morrison, and then probably Denzel Burke, depending on who you ask. Running back wise, I think Quinshon's the best back in the country, outside of maybe Ollie Gordon. But if you drop Quinshon off at Oklahoma State, I think you do the exact same numbers. And I think he's better than Trey, and I think Trey is a top 5 back in the country. So those are the top 3 positions for me, and quite frankly, it's pretty easy. So don't even need my thinking cap, buddy.
Dude, well, there we go. You showed everybody, man. I mean, that was great analysis on that. And man, Caleb Downs. All right, so this dude's a cheat code on the back end. Just like when you watched him last year, what was a word that came to mind watching Caleb Downs with you?
For me, I think he's a college football savant. I think he's a savant at the game. He never made the same mistake twice. And with that, he was able to grow really quickly. And I think Nick Saban knew that and understood that, and why Nick Saban was completely comfortable and willing to have him out there game 1, out there playing, because he was able to tighten everything up. I know that guys like learn quickly, especially freshmen, and they grow quickly. But if you look at the growth of Caleb Downs, it was more impressive to me than the growth of Malachi Starks, who was kind of the Caleb Downs of the year before. So, no, I think Caleb's a football savant. I think he's got a chance to be really special. And at Ohio State, I know the safeties have a pretty complex job. And if he picks up this safety-driven defense the way I think he will, we're talking about probably the most special safety at Ohio State since Malik Hooker, give or take a Jordan Fuller type. So anywhere in that realm, I'll absolutely take. And I'm really excited for Caleb Downs, and the pairing of him and Lathan Ransom, to me, has a chance to be probably the best safety duo we've seen maybe since the beginning of the Urban Meyer era. Depending on how you feel about Tyvis Powell and Von Bell, depending on how you feel about Malik Hooker and Damon Webb. So that's my general take on Caleb.
Yeah, and Caleb Downs is going to play multiple years for Ohio State, which
Correct.
is another great thing on that. He's only a true sophomore. So there we go. Brady, your thoughts on Kris's list, and is it similar? Is it what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think the only debate in that list, I think I've got corner 1, running back 2, safety and wide receiver are close to me. Although the safety unit is more proven, I'm obviously very big on Jeremiah Smith, even though he hasn't played it down in college football, and then Emeka Egbuka, and I think so. That safety wide receiver debate's close. I do think I lean safety because of the experience as well. So I think we have the same top 3. I might put running back 1, although deeper. I just think running back is it. I think we have the first and third best ish running back in the country. Sure. And I agree about Lathan though.
Wait, first and third. Do you think that Trey is better than the Neal kid at Kansas?
I think so. Neal is really good. I've been watching him a little bit lately. I became more familiar with his game. I do think he's top 5. I think he's better than, honestly, I know this sounds crazy. I'm not a big Ollie Gordon guy.
Okay, you think it's more to do with volume?
It's more to do with volume. Like you said, I think if Quinn Childs at Oklahoma State, he's going for 1,700 for sure. Not that I still think Ollie Gordon's really good. Don't get me wrong.
No, absolutely. No,
I still think he could be a Heisman candidate at Oklahoma State. He's going to put up the same numbers he did last year. I still put him the second best running back in the country, all due to his numbers and the fact that he's already proven it so much that it's hard to put him any lower than 2. Reigning Doak Walker Award winner, all that. But I would put Quinshawn 1. And that's
I have Quinshawn 1 for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just think his balance. He has the best balance in the country, and contact balance is just so big because breaking tackles is going to lead to first downs, and we need to move the change more on short yardage situations. So very excited for him. And then I agree. Safeties, crazy elite. Lathan Ransom, very underrated. I do think this is the best safety duo. It should be the best safety duo in years at Ohio State because I think Lathan is better than either Tyvis Powell or Damon Webb. Not to slight those guys; they were good too. But that's my thoughts, and I agree. Those are my same top 3, slightly different order.
So my hot take is that Devin Neal's the best back in the Big 12, and I will die on that hill.
I probably agree. I think he would put up the same numbers as well in distance.
So
all right, you heard it there. Devin Neal, the best running back.
I think Ballard Hayden's going to have a really good year in the Big 12 too.
He's not better than. He's not better. He's going to be good. He's not better. He's not touching Devin.
No. I'm about to say. I just think he's going to have a really good year. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Dallin, man, doing this thing out there in Boulder. Cincinnati Bearcats will see him on Halloween weekend. Matt, so would you agree also with the top 3, or would you want to usher the receivers?
I would say those top. I think running backs are 1. I would say running backs, corner, safeties, in that order. Receivers are close, like Brady said. I also think the defensive line I think it's going to be special too, especially with all the guys we have coming back. So I think they have a very, very good case to be one of the best units in the country at that position.
I'll throw it right back to you, Matt. Okay, so you're talking about the defensive line. Is there anybody that you think that isn't being talked about enough anywhere on the Ohio State team, or you want to focus on the defensive line?
Honestly, I don't want to focus on the defensive line for this one.
Go on ahead.
I feel like we're kind of underrating Carnell Tate a little bit. Nobody's really talking about him as much just because of Jeremiah Smith coming in. I think he's got a chance to be really, really good. It's just there's not going to be enough balls to go around for all 3 of those guys to go crazy. But I do think he's a really good player, and I do think he will have a very good year this year. So I'll say Carnell Tate. I think he's going to be one of the probably 5 to 10 best receivers in the Big Ten this year, just based off of, skill and how many times we throw the ball. But like I said, I mean, we got a Mecca and also Jeremiah Smith to get the ball too, so he might not have the numbers those guys have, but he's a very good player. So I'll say Carnell Tate.
Drop down to Chris or Brady. Which one? Who wants to go with this? Give me a breakout guy. Just anybody that's being under the radar.
And any position, any specific,
any position, man. Go on ahead.
Man, it's hard to say this guy because of how deep the room is, and I know that he's not going to start most likely this year. But when I went to practice on March 30th, the guy that jumped out the most to me was Bryson Rogers. He was routing people up. I mean, that dude runs great routes. He had the highest last year in fall camp. He caught the most percentage of passes thrown to him. He caught 85% of the balls that were thrown his way, and he can move. And he was open. I remember he caught he caught a post that was a good throw by Devin Brown in between a couple of defenders. Caught it and took it 75 yards to the house. I believe Jermaine Matthews might have been guarding him that play too. So no slouch at corner. I really like Bryson Rogers. I think that he looked better than Carnell Tate that day, and it really wasn't close. Not saying he is better than Carnell Tate, and he probably isn't better than Carnell Tate, but that day he was better. Him and Jeremiah and Emeka were the 3 guys that were.
He looks super he looks the most quote unquote explosive out of the group.
I agree. Yeah, for sure. Most twitchy kind of on his route running, sharpest cuts. For sure.
What's your thoughts, Chris?
My breakout guy, 2 guys. Cody Simon's gonna be an All-American. Just putting that out there right now.
Holy shit!
All right.
I would love that. Would be beautiful.
I mean, hey, look, I did this 2 years ago, and everybody called me a madman. I told you guys, Tommy Eichenberg.
You're a mad scientist, Chris. Mad scientist again in here. Okay.
22, Tommy Eichenberg. You thinking the same type of year for Cody?
I think he's gonna be better. But
better than
all
right. I think this year for Cody's gonna be better than the Tommy All-American year. And then also, I don't know if you guys want to call this a breakout or not. But Josh Fryer is going to be a top 5 round draft pick. So
that's a breakout.
To me, that's enough of a breakout. But I'll say this. When I think about breakout players, I think about thin rooms and guys that have a unique skill set. I think G. Scott at tight end is going to have to be a breakout player because of how much Ryan and, honestly, Chip like to throw the balls to the tight end and how much he's going to be out there. And I was kind of told by another player that, Jelani Thurman's super talented, probably a year away. So I expect – G. Scott with another year of growth and development to be not too shabby as a breakout player. So those are my 3. But the big one, Tommy Eichenberg. I mean, not Tommy Eichenberg. Cody Simon, All-American.
Cody Simon.
That would be crazy if those 2 guys break out. I mean, if you say weaknesses on our team, I mean, you'd say tight end, and then like who's replacing middle backer? Like you'd say those are probably 2 of our bigger weaknesses. Plus Fryer. As the other tackle, like I mean, if those guys are all good, holy shit! I mean, we're looking great. Like
we're in a good spot.
Yeah, it's big time.
Who do you think's the other linebacker? Who do you think's the other starter? Sonny Styles?
Yeah, it's Sonny. I got that confirmed. As close to confirmed as you can.
Yeah, I was working with Sonny last month, and God, he's crazy.
Yeah, that's a specimen of an athlete. What kind of dunks did he throw down Brady at the rec?
So I remember not forgotten because I knew it a lot at the time. I just wasn't thinking about his basketball background when he was playing. I'm like, oh, we're hooping with Sonny Styles. Yeah. But obviously he won a state title with Pick Central.
Yeah. Him and Devin Royal.
Yeah, him and Devin were a duo. And he comes flying down the court and I'm like, I have to step in. And he does a top Euro. Jumps up and just tomahawks it, and then it came into my head. I'm like, oh yeah, you won the state championship. I was like,
yeah, bro. I just want you to know, my boy, for free, you never have to step up. Like I don't want to ever see you on a T-shirt on a poster.
Like, no, I got out of the way once you.
I'm just saying, like you just said to us, like I knew I had to step up. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Yeah.
And also, like if you undercut Sonny Styles, and he hurts himself, we're gonna jump.
Yeah, Chris is jumping you. I'll probably jump you. Bunch of
So look, I love you, and for 2 things, I don't want you to get dunked on, and I don't want you to ruin my Saturdays.
No, trust me, I would never put Sonny Styles at jeopardy.
I think I want him to get dunked on. That would be a cool story.
Well, that's
That would be a
this
cool
is coming.
story.
This is coming from the guy that hasn't hooped in like 2 years, man.
I would want to get dunked on. That would be sweet. It's a cool story.
Hey, one time
man.
Chase tried to dunk on me at the runs,
That is correct.
and
thought
I
had
blocked
my
off the
legs.
backboard. Tell him about
Nah,
that.
my backboard's a little much. All
Off
right,
the
nah.
backboard.
Whatever. That was when I didn't have legs. Now, right now, it's thrown.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. He didn't try to dunk on it, but he did go up with the softest layup I've ever seen. And
I went for the jelly though. That was the thing.
yeah,
and
I blocked off the backboard. Correct.
You did because I was in contempt. I was like,
try to jelly on me. Like, what do you think this is? I am not a biscuit. I am not a piece of bread or a piece of toast.
I found that out there, and you know what? Next time we hoop.
But the next time, later that game, you went
jam.
up real strong with 2 hands. I was real proud of you. I really was.
I went back to my old roots, man. But next time, it's jam next time.
This boy went up like Monte Ellis in year 14. Like, goodness gracious, boy, if you don't punch that.
Golly, I didn't trust the legs. I'll tell you that. I did not trust
big light-skinned goober. Go up.
Golly. Been hitting them leg workouts recently. But, Christopher, wow, got me off point. Let's go with our biggest position group battles. If there's one position group where you're like, yeah, eyes are locked on, who is it?
I mean, isn't it quarterback? Right?
Oh.
It has to be.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the
like
number one.
I mean, I'm not gonna fake. Quarterback is the only question mark I have on the team. Like everything else, I'm good.
Okay.
I just feel like
give me a couple questions. Give me a couple questions that you're asking yourself.
I mean, maybe that other DT spot. I want to see like if Hero Canoe can be good enough to play, but he's not going to be a starter. I do have a question about that slot spot for Ohio State, but it's going to be a mecca. Even though they're going to have to fit BI in, but position group wise, like I don't know what battles there really are other than quarterback.
But what questions? Are there any specific questions?
I feel like right guard.
Right guard, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You thinking Carson Hinsman as of now, or
I'm under the assumption that it's going to be Carson Hinsman out there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm leaning that way too. I was,
I want it to be Tegra. That's who I would like.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Tegra or Luke Montgomery would make me happier. I would like them to be better football players than Carson Hinsman. Like I would like them to be Carson Hinsman. That's all I like. Seth McLaughlin is way better than Carson Hinsman at center. I feel like if anyone watched those two and just didn't focus on Seth's snaps against Bama, they would see that he's much better blocker than Carson Hinsman.
Here we go. Seth's slow snaps only were there with Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, I mean,
you say they had him snap into this little fella, Honey Who Shrunk the Quarterback. They had him snap into a middle schooler.
Yeah,
and the snaps
I'm
only.
not worried about it. I think Seth's going to be really good.
I'm just saying, like the snaps were low, but of course they were low. Bro was used to
Bryce
in the
Young.
heat of battle. Bryce Young.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean,
like nobody's brought that up a single time. Like Bryce Young was Honey Who Shrunk the Quarterback.
Bro was a good 175.
Yeah, 175, and he was 5'3". Of course the snaps were low.
I agree.
Man.
I am interested in that D tackle spot, though. I think, obviously, Tyleek locked in. I mean, Ty Hamilton is solid, but I don't think he's a game changer. Like, I feel like
Ty Hamilton's good. I mean, like he's not bad, but I think it'll just be like a rotation. I mean, but the three guys that we have coming. I mean, Tyleek, Jack, and JT. They're going to. That's about. I mean, that's about as good as you're going to find. I mean, realistically.
You know what?
Jason Moore and K-Mac, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one that I would like to see with that group, and just for the sake of like supreme upside, like Jason Moore being like 6'7.5", 6'8", around like 305 with really long arms. Like, could you imagine lining him up next to Tyleek and as the inside of an offensive line, you have to make the decision, okay, I can either play this straight up or I can double Tyleek, but if I double Tyleek, I don't know what that alien's going to do.
Yeah.
And I think like, could you imagine, like, if you bring JT on a stunt, like, when you have Jason Moore out there slanting, like...
We're calling Area 51 at that point.
I mean, only thing you could do is get a shotgun and stop the bear because you're not going to block him one-on-one, I think, if he gets comfortable. So I think he's got a chance to wreak the most havoc, especially if you put him out there with those three guys who I firmly believe are NFL guys. And if you're an OC, you think to yourself, okay, like the biggest, freakiest, scariest one is the one that we think might be the worst, but do we want to run the risk of letting him get going? And that's kind of where I would try to play Jason Moore a good amount this year.
Mind games come into play. That's exactly what it is. You're like, are we gonna let this guy just have his own way and stuff, and then everybody else tees off?
Yeah, it's like, what is that? We don't have any intel on him, but what is that? And what do we do about that?
Do we want to find out?
Mm-hmm. No, the answer is no. It's like the big sleeping villain in all the TV shows that wakes up in the last scene,
Yeah,
I can't do it.
No, Jason is a very exciting. I mean, because out of high school, he was recruited as a D end and D tackle, depending on which program you're talking about recruiting him. And he obviously has gained weight at Ohio State since coming out of high school, which he needed to play that D tackle spot. But definitely, probably the most intriguing defensive tackle on the team, upside wise, for sure.
Christopher, I'm going to go down to you again with that quarterback battle. You line up from 1 through 5 with these quarterbacks. How would you stack them up?
I told myself I wasn't going to do this again, so I'm just going to take the conventional route. Psych, I got plenty of Heisman bets on Devin Brown. I got DB, Will, Julian.
Oh, fuck me.
Lincoln Air, I think.
He said, I'm sorry. He said DB, Will. 3, 4, 5.
Look, here's the thing. It's probably gonna be Will Howard, but y'all don't understand. I've ridden this far with DB. I've taken so many bullets. I got jumped in the parking lot out in the Twitter streets. Got to roll with it, low to the soil. But it'll probably be Will Howard got $1 million, bro. It's gonna be Will Howard starting quarterback. But for the plot and for my Heisman bets, DB. But do you guys see the Vegas odds today that Julian Sand has a higher chance to start than Devin Brown does?
Yeah, he was what? Yeah. He was plus 900. Devin was plus 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then Will was like minus 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I think that's other than I would switch a couple of things around, but not a bad list. I would put Will at 1. I think I'd put Julian at 2. Devin 3, Air 4, and then Lincoln 5 would probably.
I just can't put Julian ahead of anybody yet because all I have is the spring game reference and the rumors I've heard, and in the spring game Dev was the best, and he was the only one that didn't get to play with Jeremiah Smith. So to me, it's okay, the only one that threw a touchdown pass in the spring game, I'll give it to him, over Julian. And honestly, bro, I like Julian a lot. I think Julian's got a real shot, but his arm strength didn't look what I thought it was. Which is natural, I guess. Maybe I just had too high hopes for the kid because it's he's different. He looks different than the other 5-star quarterbacks we've seen in terms of arm strength wise.
Yeah, he's a little. He does not look like a college kid. Yeah, he looks like a high schooler, maybe even low key a middle schooler. He's just so. I think his thing is more of his accuracy and the way he can distribute the ball. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, not the strongest. I feel like he's more of a Bryce Young. That'd be my.
Well, the thing is, I thought he had a massive arm because he's got some of the craziest arm speed I've seen.
Yeah. He has a quick release, which is great. Sometimes Kyle McCord had one of the slowest releases we've seen at Ohio State, which almost caused interceptions.
He sucks.
Yeah, but I do have futures bet for Syracuse to make the playoffs.
Really?
And okay.
Yeah, bro. Because look, here we go. Get this.
Let's hear it.
Syracuse and Rutgers both have 2 of the top 3 easiest schedules in all of Power 5. If you parlay them together in a 12-team playoff, for them both to just make the playoffs, and 10-2 gets them both in the playoffs, I would think $10 wins you $7,000.
I might.
Okay. So if that happens, I think we might need to go to Vegas.
I'm just saying, isn't that crazy?
Again and just
it's probably worth it for $10.
For $10. For $10, I can't blame you.
Honestly, just wait till you get a free bet and just use the free bet on that.
Yeah, fuck it, why not? Why not? Honestly, though.
So I win $7,000.
Yeah, if you win $7,000, we might have to go out.
Yeah, bro. I'll take you guys to Jeff Ruby's.
Fuck it.
We'll have a bro date. Thanks, Kyle. We'll vlog the whole thing.
We'll go to Cincinnati and get steak burro. Whatever.
You should invite Kyle.
Bro, they have steak burros in Columbus.
Oh well, I just want to go to Cincinnati because
you goofy goober.
I don't know about that, but
Dayton is better. Dayton is better than Cincy.
Oh, what? Hold on, what? What you mean?
Hey, take it up with Seaball, not me.
he's something else, man. Shout out to him though. But all right. That doesn't sit well with me at all. It really does. It really does. We'll talk.
It's jokes. Shout out Joey B. He really bangs the set.
Yeah, for real. All right. How do we win a national championship this year? Give me specific keys. All right. Obviously,
specific keys.
Yeah.
I have one. Specific key to run the ball at least 59% of offensive snaps.
Wow.
All right. So we think about how many snaps do we have in a college football game? What, 70? 70?
Yeah, between 60 and 70, depending on. Well, I'd have to look at with the new clock what the average is.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe 60, 65 at that point. Okay. So
that's why I get the percentage. 59% of the snaps have to be runs at Ohio State this year.
So we're looking at probably over 30 run attempts a game. We're looking at 35 to 40 runs a game.
30 runs, I think, is
30 runs. Okay, because again, the clock and everything.
Yeah, 30, 35 runs, yep.
30, 35 runs. You got 2 running backs. You got a quarterback that can run. You got receivers that can do other stuff. All right.
Yeah, so and I think putting games away early and letting a lot of those runs be James Peoples, who I think has a college-ready body already. That way you kind of save some wear and tear on your top 2 that you're going to need down the stretch. So I think 59% of the time running the ball and getting out of games early and blowing teams out and playing backups early. No more of this, my starting quarterback in the 3 until there's 5 minutes left in the 4th. No more of that. I want full young guys because with a 17-game season to win the chip, I need everybody healthy. And I can't have cases where Lathan Ransom is getting beat up late in games, then he gets hurt, and then Malik Hartford has to go play against Michigan, and we haven't played with them all year. If a guy's gonna get hurt, cool, you can't avoid it. But at least the least you can do is have those other guys ready because you're playing them in blowouts. That's something that Ryan Day has failed at back-to-back seasons. Yeah, you're turning into an NFL type season at this point. So correct. Look at what's happening right now in the NFL. You got some guys, if they're a little banged up, they'll take a week off. They'll play it on the safe side. And the thing is, if we're winning like that, we don't have to take that risk. No need.
To be honest, we already had guys that would get a little bit banged up and would sit out last year.
That is true. That is true.
Freaking time, and it pisses me off a lot.
I feel like we did that more than any other team last year. It was ridiculous. There's no way. You cannot convince me that it's Penn State that Trey, Emeka, or Denzel Burke could all not roll. And then beat them. All 3 were back very soon after.
Yeah, they were. So 59%, was that why that number, or was it the fact of you want 30 runs? Did you want to go percentage, or did you want to go actual number?
I went percentage. I saw a stat about how much Chip Kelly likes to run the ball and how much versus Ryan, and that number was the number floated out there by my guy C. And when I looked it up, it made sense. And I thought about the yards that Ohio State teams had run for in the past. And last year's Michigan team ran for, I believe, 3,000 yards. And they were a really run-heavy team. In 2019, Ohio State ran for 3,600 yards as another run-heavy team. And that was the most run-heavy Ohio State's been. And I would contend that the most unstoppable offense is a Ryan Day offense that can run the ball because that's when stretch is really going. And when you can push teams off the ball, it opens up a lot of the play action stuff. And I think that this Ohio State team is best when they're getting one-on-ones with receivers and not having to force the running game late, because that's when Ryan Day kind of gets anxious and gets tightened up. So I think the perfect Ryan Day offense is stretch, power, and then deep shots. I could do without the dink and dunk stuff, because why am I going to throw you a 4-yard hitch or whatever if I know you can't break a tackle and don't have yards after catch? So I just want the chance to demoralize teams and run the football the way Ryan Day did in 2019, which was his best team to date.
Thanks for cooking dinner right there, Chris. I was really hungry for that knowledge. I appreciate it.
Thank you, good brother. Thank you, good brother.
Yes, sir. Drop down the Brady. Give me a key other than running the football, because we love running the football. What's a key, Brady, to win the national championship?
I think I'm not going to say quarterback because that's the obvious answer, obviously. I'm going to go right tackle and tight end when they're specifically lined up next to each other because Josh Fryer last year obviously had a disappointing season. I think everyone would agree with me. And now, there's been great reviews on him in spring camp through the summer. His body has changed. I do think he's going to be better this year, but he has to be. He has to pass block better. Obviously run block as well. He just has to be more complete and not be a liability against fast speed rushers. And then the tight end is going to be able to have to block. I know Cade Stover would whiff sometimes, but like when he got a hold of somebody, he's throwing him. He's a very strong, physical person. We need to see that from G. Scott if he's the starting tight end in a lot of those situations because he's smaller. He's only 6'2". He's gained weight since he was a receiver, obviously, but he doesn't weigh nearly the amount of like Cade Stover. So I think those two. I know it's still involved with the run game, but when those two are next to each other, we need them to create movement, or else against these great teams, against these big time teams like Oregon or Georgia, or in the game, we need to get movement with those two because I'm not worried about the rest of the offensive line that much. I'm really not.
Okay, so a lot of run game is just going to be a big key in how the camaraderie of right tackle and tight end play together. Okay, yeah. Matthew, what do you think?
I'm going with the obvious answer. Quarterback cannot suck. Or just realistic. That's like Kris said earlier. He doesn't have any question marks. I really feel good about everywhere except we have to see the quarterback come out and be an Ohio State quarterback. We can't have a Kyle McCord. I'm sorry. He's fine. Like, he's okay, whatever. But we were a quarterback away from last year of winning the Natty. Like, that defense was unreal, right? We had the best skill player in the country last year in Marvin Harrison Jr. We were a quarterback away. That's just the reality of it. So if we have now I'm not talking about C.J. Stroud or Justin Fields type deals, like when they're coming out and just unbelievable first-round picks. But they've got to be able to throw the ball, move in the pocket, do things that Kyle he was just horrible.
Yeah, so, scramble drill. If we have a quarterback,
exactly, like pocket presence, like just move around in the pocket, bro. Like something like that. Like, I'm not saying like a generational talent. Like, obviously, we're seeing C.J. Stroud now. Like, he's unreal. One of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL now. Like, let's be honest. Like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like he's just got to be good enough to do certain things in the pocket, and it just last year was not it. It was not it.
If this team gets Brady Cook level quarterback play, they are considered an all-time great team.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great question. Is Will Howard or Brady Cook a better quarterback right now?
I don't think it's a great question. Brady Cook is way better than Will Howard, but can Will Howard give us Brady Cook like production is really what it is.
Yeah, because also Brady Cook had infinitely better weapons even at Missouri than Will Howard did. So it's like still like I feel like he could become that level of player here at Ohio State. I think.
Brady Cook just has a huge arm though too, like just a huge a huge
arm.
He has
a really nice deep ball, really nice.
Yeah. Really nice. Very true. And I just realized my audio was horrible before I turned this up. Man, that's
you turned the dynamic mic on. Your audio wasn't horrible, but right now it's on a different planet. And I
know. I have a whole system set up over here, and I completely forgot to press something on the settings. That is tough. Wow. Okay. Well, I'll figure it out later. That's fine.
Wait, who sounds better, gang? Me or Chase?
Test. Let's test.
It's actually really close.
I know. I heard him hit the dynamic switch, and it's like, oh yeah, that's real.
I got a whole system right here. It's a decent bit, but decent bit
of cost. What do you think I have?
You think what do you have?
I have a Wave XLR, a Stream Deck, and then a Shure SMB mic.
Okay, I have a Shure MV7 with a Rodecaster. So there we go.
Is it the red one?
Huh?
Is it the red one?
No, black one.
Okay.
Well, it's a huge black panel. I'll send you a picture of it later. But
yeah, no. I love black.
I do too. Okay.
Next topic.
So next topic, Kris. Offensive and defensive MVPs from the outside looking in. Who, your thoughts? Who do you think it's going to be? Offensively and defensively after that.
One more time.
You're good. All right. Offensive MVP.
Offensive and defensive MVP.
Yes. Go.
Let's see. Defensive MVP. Well, I've already stamped one guy's an All-American, but I think Denzel Burke's gonna be defensive MVP because I think he's gonna make some big plays and some big moments. Let's see what else. Offensive MVP. Honestly, I think Denzel Burke's gonna win the Thorpe Award. So at least I'm hopeful that he wins the Thorpe Award.
Right.
Offensive MVP. That's tricky. Because I want to say Judkins, but I think that they're gonna split carries down the middle. So I don't know if he'll have the load to do that. Oof.
Need a second to ponder that thought.
Is it fried if I say Emeka? Because if Will Howard's the quarterback, I think Emeka is going to naturally be the security blanket.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a chance to catch 70 balls this year.
For sure. Yeah. I mean,
very possible. Yeah. Very possible. Likely. So there we go. So you said Emeka Buka on offense, and you got Denzel Burke on defense. All right. Brady, your thoughts. Who do you got? Offensive and defensive MVPs.
I agree with Emeka offensively. I do think he'll become the school's all-time leading receiver this year. I think he'll have a big year, especially like Chris said. I think Will Howard, even at Kansas State, he liked throwing to his slot receivers and his tight ends a lot. So I think that Emeka will have a huge year with him naturally being a very experienced, obviously one of the best receivers in the country coming back. And then defensively, I got Jack Sawyer. I think Jack Sawyer is going to finally produce high sack numbers this year. I know we've been waiting for it for years. I mean, we've been predicting a certain guy to get double-digit sacks year after year after Chase Young did it. Just assume, because it used to be a given that somebody was going to get at least 10 sacks, and we've been on a hiatus of that. But I think Jack Sawyer is going to have I think he's going to have 12 sacks this year, and I think he's going to be outstanding. I think he's going to be our defensive MVP. Yeah, I do. I think Jack Sawyer.
All right. In agreement on Emeka. Brady has Jack Sawyer. Chris with Burke. Matt, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to take Judkins. I just think his ability to stay healthy throughout the year is going to actually be a bigger thing than people are talking about right now. Our running back room has been beat up.
Knock on wood, please.
For 2 or 3 years. And I just think he's made it through 2 SEC seasons, and I think that's a big deal. So I'm going to knock on wood, like Brady just said. But I think you end up seeing him take a bulk of a majority of the carries this year. So I'm taking Judkins on offense. On defense, I'm also going to take Jack Sawyer. Brady was a good pick. I think our best defensive player is Caleb Downs, but I just believe – I mean, coming on at the end of the year last year against Minnesota and Missouri, Jack Sawyer played out of this freaking world. He finally – we talked about it on our last episode. He obviously was highly recruited, 5-star, but it took him a couple years to kind of blossom into finally being that number 1 defensive end for Ohio State. It took him a couple years. JT flashed a year before, kind of, and Jack played and wasn't terrible, but just didn't have that, star impact like he did towards the end of the year last year. And he really showed up towards the end. I just feel like it's just going to continue to carry on. And I also like him as a leader too. I think he's got a really good mindset, carries himself well. So I got Jack Sawyer.
All right. All very good.
He would be my favorite to get the block O as of right now. Would be Jack Sawyer.
First one to announce that he's coming back too. Tell Ryan.
Yep. Yeah, he's a big leader. I like Jack. I like him.
All right. Good stuff. Once again, having us 4 on the show, very, very fun and just to reconnect and everything. Chris, once again, thanks for coming on the show. I want to ask, other than Ohio State, what's a non-conference game, like a week 1, 2, or 3 game that you're just looking forward to in early September?
Week 1, Miami, Florida. That's the one.
All right.
That's the one. That's the GU game. Also USC LSU is really excites me because I think LSU is the USC of the SEC. They don't play defense, but they've got all the offensive firepower that you would want, at least recruiting wise. And so I've got a close eye on that. Obviously, Big Ten versus SEC piques my interest, but those are the 2 early ones. And I think Michigan plays Texas early, So
Yeah.
that's one that I've absolutely got circled.
I think Texas might get nasty with them too.
I'm back and forth. I hope they get freaky.
I think they might get nasty with them and just torch their ass. That would be awesome. So that's one that I'm talking about. But I can't wait to watch Georgia just dog walk Clemson. I think they're going to crush them. And I love when Clemson gets their ass beat. I love it. I just can't wait. I hate Clemson, dude. So that's 12 o'clock on the 31st. That's the noon kick before we start it, which is really weird. How the hell is that a noon kick? But whatever. We'll take it. It's a little appetizer before the Buckeyes kick off.
That's TV deals for you now, man. It's weird. It is going to be a very odd season with all these realignments in conferences, TV network deals and stuff. With us kicking off on CBS again this year will be something. I think the nightcap for week 1 is Notre Dame going to Kyle Field against A&M.
Well, we got Penn State, West Virginia that week too, I think.
That is big noon, I believe. I believe that's big noon that week. Yeah.
Let's see.
It is, yeah. Fact check me if you want. But let's
I'm
see
not
here.
sure yet. I'm scrolling. Just looking.
OSU loses 2 games but still wins the championship.
Not a chance.
I don't even know who the 2 would even be to.
It'd be Oregon, Michigan.
Oregon, maybe.
I mean, at Penn State is not easy either.
Yeah, but Drew Aller exists.
Yeah, he sucks. Yeah, you were right, Chase. It is big noon.
It's in Morgantown, I believe, right? They flip home and home. Okay. Yeah. All right, guys.
There's no night game worth of crap, bro.
Just keep looking at that schedule, Matt. Keep looking at that schedule. Maybe you'll find one somewhere down the line. Again, we appreciate you guys listening and stuff. Kris, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate you as always. This has been the Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast. Kris Drew, Brady King, Matt Ricketts. I'm Chase Shantz. We'll see you guys next time.